Sports Show, the Southern Footy League, of course, grand final, massive weekend down there. So we better get the president for one more time. Craig Warman joins us. Craig, how are you?
Good, boys. How are we?
Mate, a ripping weekend. Let's start with the first one, of course. Ranelagh, too good for Morphett Vale, 9-3 to 6-7, but it was an interesting game. I mean, Ranelagh open up with the first 6 goals of the game. Then no one scores really in the second quarter. Then suddenly we go, Morphett Vale kick 6 and it's level at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone at half-time, Morphett haven't got a goal. What's going on? But it was just, Ranelagh got out early, but you always knew Morphett Vale were going to come. They've played a really good final series. Third quarters have been very good for them. They came out, bang, bang, bang. As you say, three-quarter time, even Stevens. Ranelagh coming home with a slight breeze. It was more across the ground, but you could score both ends.
I was going to say, blustery conditions is always tough down at the old South Adelaide Oval there. But what about was it like at any stage 4 or 5 goal breeze? No,
probably 2. A lot of play on the western side over the scoreboard side, as you could well imagine. But those who were game enough to come grandstand side, that's where they got their goals from.
Yep. Did you feel that Morphett Vale were in the game at three-quarter time? I know the scores were level, but they've still got to come back from 6 down.
Yeah.
In those conditions, did you still feel they had enough left in the tank to win the game?
I did, if they were able to score the first one.
Yeah, that's
if they scored the first one,
yeah,
they would have probably got a bit more out of themselves in that last quarter. But
yeah. They had a good year, mate.
First tap, bang, 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 Ranelagh straight out the middle, scored.
Morphett's had more scoring shots.
Yeah, they did.
So in the end, I actually thought that Ranelagh would just run over the top at Morphett Vale, but I know you mentioned last week that Morphett have got some players back and a bit more structured, and I said that's one thing, but Ranelagh have been outstanding all year, but it actually looked like they were right up to the game.
Come three-quarter time, you could tell, as I said, if they got the first one, they're in. But they'd spent a lot of petrol tickets by then.
Yeah, getting there.
Getting
there.
So
they had a good year, mate.
Both teams multiple scorers. Both teams had 5 different goal scorers.
Yep.
Semple with 3 was the big one. Was he the difference?
Oh, he was very, very good. Especially he scored the first one in the last quarter and then backed it up a couple of minutes later with the second one, and that virtually broke the camel's back.
Wow. And the conditions down there, as you said, were pretty. It gets cool down there anyway in the middle of summer. I don't know about when, but it would have been. What about your crowd? What about the numbers at the game? From what I heard, she was bumper to bumper again. You've done really well crowd-wise.
Oh, extremely well. When you get 6 different clubs for 5 games, you're going to get a good crowd. And like halfway through the under-15 game, we had to shut the gates because we couldn't get any more cars around South Adelaide.
Yeah.
And the whole car park scenario was full. And we had to wait for the game to finish, so some would leave, and you're able to get more cars in.
Wow!
But it was just a really, really good grand final day.
Yeah. Just before we touch on the reserves, Cam McCree, best on ground. Your pick?
Can play.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a toss-up between him and I would have thought Sammy Whitbread, the male medalist. He had another terrific game in the middle. A bit of a toss-up between those. And as you know, the umpires see it different to most people, but. Yeah.
Right, the B grade, mate. Noarlunga defeated Ranelagh. 16-point win for Noarlunga.
Yeah, the boys down at the shoe were pretty happy about that. Of course, they've done it hard as well, coming through from missing a couple of finals and then getting into the grand final. Ranelagh have been their nemesis all year, so
it was unexpected, basically. So
yeah. We had a couple of
That's
upsets.
a good story, isn't it?
It is.
It's finals.
C grade, mate. Morphett Vale, too good for Flaggies.
Yep. They and of course with the passing of Jan Manuel during the previous week, long-time secretary there, Hall of Fame member of the Southern Footy League. Jan would have been proud of the Morphy boys in the B grade and the C grade.
The good part about your day is that you've had. I'm just listening to Phil go through the results here. Is you've had multiple winners. You've had different winners. It hasn't been Ranelagh.
Yeah.
We're talking now Ranelagh, Noarlunga, Christie's, all these clubs now have had some success. Phil, you've got
Yeah,
it.
no, you're 100% correct, mate. Ranelagh, then Noarlunga, then Morphe's. Under 15s was Christie's and Port Noarlunga, Christie's under 17s, Port Noarlunga under 15s and Port Noarlunga under 30. So
Wow.
Baz's point's right. It's a great spread through all the clubs, isn't it?
And what a great fillip for Port Noarlunga, who've struggled in their seniors,
Big time, yeah.
to win 2 junior flags. I think it's the first time in 30-odd years they've won a junior premiership.
Well, we did speak about that during the year, didn't we?
Yeah.
That there was a couple of clubs that bottom end there at the senior level, but you were saying that the strength at the moment is in their junior development, which
And Christie's Beach are the same.
It's the same, so you've
they
got-
went through that season undefeated, so
You've got 3 age
17 and a
groups that's
half.
gonna really start
so
pushing.
that's a good get for Christie.
Everybody goes home with a smile on their face. That's what you want from the day, grand final day. Well, they really
Well,
have,
the
haven't
biggest, the biggest smile was on Billy's face.
Hey, mate, just quickly back to the A grade. So it finished up before the final started. Ranelagh sat on top, then Flaggies, then Noarlunga, then Morphett, Vale, Happy Valley, Christie's Cove, Aldinga and Port Noarlunga. But if we leave just for the moment Aldinga and Port Noarlunga, right to the end, Cove and Christie's were a chance to get into the final. So it has been a bumper year for the Southern Footy League, and the clubs are all starting to, the gap's closed.
Oh, very much so. And when you look over the last couple of years, it's just getting tighter and tighter. So again, you've credit to the clubs with the coaching that they've now got in place, especially at the junior level. These kids are starting to develop at a very young age, and I talk about in the Christie's under 17s, a lad by the name of Chase Darris. Remember that name? He's come through the system at Christie's. He's won the under 13 medal. He's won the under 15 medal. He's won the under 17.5 medal. He's off to SASS next year.
Fantastic.
So
It's a good breeding ground, the Southern Footy League, mate.
Yeah.
It's always great to catch up. I know you've got a couple of AGMs coming up. I'm sure we'll catch up with you before the end of the year. Always appreciate your time. Southern Footy League has been fantastic. Well done to Ranelagh and all the other clubs that had success in the grand final. Stay with us.